Greetings. I just have a few minutes this morning, so I won't make this too long, but I was reading this morning's I Ching, and it just felt exciting. I wanted to share the energy that I'm tuning into today after it seems like lots of waiting, lots of standstill, lots of like retracting back that's happening both in the world, but also in our individual person. So remember, we are the microcosm of the macro and vice versa. So what we see reflected in the world, we can find the correlation for in our lives. And today I pulled hexagram 43, which is Kwai, the breakthrough or resoluteness. So I want to read, because this hexagram signifies, on one hand, a breakthrough after a long accumulation of tension as a swollen river breaks through its dikes, or in the manner of a cloud burst. On the other hand, applied to human conditions, it refers to the time when inferior people gradually begin to disappear. Their influence is on the wane as a result of resolute action. A change in conditions occurs, a breakthrough. This hexagram is linked with the third month in the Chinese calendar, April, May. So it just started into a new Chinese calendar, the year of the ox, which is steadfastness and work that leads to success and abundance. That is steadfast. I'm actually the year of the ox, so I'm excited to see this energy come back around. This says, even if only one inferior man is occupying a ruling position in the city, and I also want us to apply this to our own mind, if only one inferior thought is occupying the ruling body, okay, he's able to suppress or oppress the superior man or the superior mind. So only one thought, right? Passion and reason cannot exist side by side. An interesting thought. We'll come back to that. Passion and reason. Therefore, fight without quarter is necessary if good is to prevail. In a resolute struggle of the good against evil, there are, however, definite rules that must not be disregarded if it is to succeed. And that is, first, resolution must be based on a union of strength and friendliness. So again, coming back to ourselves, a union of strength and friendliness within the body system and also within our smaller pods of family and people. Okay, a union of strength and friendliness. This is the healing force. This is the succeeding force. Second, a compromise with evil is not possible. Evil under all circumstances must be openly discredited. Okay, so nor must our own passions and shortcomings be glossed over. Okay, third, the struggle must not be carried on directly by force. If evil is branded, it thinks of weapons. And if we do it the favor of fighting against it blow by blow, we lose in the end because we thus ourselves get entangled in hatred and passion. Therefore, it's important to begin at home, to be on guard in our own persons against the faults we have branded. In this way, finding no opponent, the sharp edges of the weapons of evil become dulled. Think of that in our own minds. When we don't find any opponent, and there's nothing going against ourselves, no discrediting thoughts, no inferior thoughts, no thoughts of the old paradigm, I would say. When a new paradigm of thoughts rule, which is love and creation and passion, when these overcome, right? It says, if we find no opponent in the mind, the sharp edges of the weapons of evil become dulled, so we can no longer hurt ourselves or set ourselves back. For the same reasons, we should not combat our own faults directly. As long as we wrestle with them, they continue victorious. So we almost have to like go around our faults to the other side and find the opposite polarity, or find the benefit of our faults, as my mentor Lisa Kay would say, to integrate them. If we find the benefit of them, we're not fighting directly against this. Like, I hate it when I do this. Like, I need to stop doing this. This is really damaging to me when I do this. That's fighting the fault directly. So if we can instead love that about ourselves, find the benefit of that fault, even in the world, when we find the benefit of what's happening, we turn the weapons away from it, and it coaxes it into the breakthrough, is what this is saying. Finally, the best way to fight evil is to make energetic progress in the good. So continue to enlarge the good. When the water of the lake has risen up to heaven, there is reason to fear a cloudburst. Taking this as a warning, the superior man forestalls a violent collapse. If a man were to pile up riches for himself alone, without considering others, he would certainly experience a collapse. Because again, the energetics have to be evenly distributed. They can't just be held in one area. So for all gathering is followed by a dispersion. Therefore, the superior man begins to distribute while he's accumulating. So you're accumulating not just for the self, but for the all. Like my little one said last night, if I had $1 trillion, Mom, I wouldn't just have it for me. He said, I wouldn't give it all away. I would have some, but I would give some to all the family. I would give some to all the neighbors. And that's completely following this, this law is as the good is being distributed to the superior man, it's also being distributed out so that there's no fear of collapse because you're taking it all on. A superior man distributes while he's accumulating. So this is a principle of the new earth. Let's just log that. I'm getting that as a code right now. The superior man distributes while he or she is accumulating. So while it's coming in, it's going into all. So it's not just, you think of rain, like if you had a bunch of rain barrels and all the rain only went into one, eventually it would burst if it couldn't get out, right? So you want to set it up so it can go into all the possible barrels as it's coming in, and then it's distributing, right? And I'm not talking about a socialistic model. So that would be not stretching the person's capacity to receive and do well with the energy. So it's not just a handout, it is wisdom, it is teaching, it is sharing of the gifts of spirit, of insight as they come in. So you're not hoarding them all for yourself, but teaching along the way so that energy gets distributed and doesn't just stay in one person or one place where it is, on the verge of collapse right now because we're coming into the breakthrough. So, in the same way, in developing his character, he takes care not to become hardened in obstinacy, but to remain receptive to impressions by help of strict and continuous self-examination. So this is another, those of you who are just jumping in, I'm reading on the I Ching today about the breakthrough energy, and I am feeling that we have been being pressed in by this accumulation of maybe what we call inferior forces, while at the same time, of course, we're getting the cosmic energy coming in too, but how it's been expressing in our physical is like an enlargement in something that it doesn't feel like it's for all. But this energy is about that shifting after a long standstill. So in times of resolute advance, the beginning is especially difficult. We feel inspired to press forward, but resistance is still strong. Therefore, we ought to gauge our own strength and venture only so far as we can go with certainty of success. To plunge blindly ahead right now is wrong because it's precisely at the beginning that an unexpected setback can have the most disastrous results. So we're going to end it there today. And that's just encouragement, like as we're coming out of the standstill, that it's don't do it all at once. Don't burst into the new all at once right now. The energy is saying that's when the setback can happen. So instead, slowly, as the energy is pushing out, begin to advance, and the success will be made sure. Thank you for joining me this morning. Just sending love to you and your family. Just reminding you that the inner relationship with the self is of the utmost anchoring to the earth, and then our relationships, especially our family relationships, our partnerships, that love and energy between the healing that needs to happen there is the core that then flows out into the family. And the family is also the core of all of humanity, all of the world. So as this energy is coming in to feed our relationships, allow the wounds to be healed gently, slowly, because that's what's happening. If we allow this new Aquarian energy, is this healing of the family ties and wounds, where I've got this family thing going on behind me, um, to go back to our roots, to go back to the core relationships, to find where those mishaps have been and where that inferior energy has been allowed to grow, that wants to now collapse, break through. So as this new energy is coming in, just feeding it to it gently, like you're anointing it with an elixir, like you're putting gold, infusions into all the cracks that have been the wounds of your life. Okay, till next time, much love to you.